Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video to the channel. Welcome to Monday, which means the update for Runescape 3. So today we have the beginning of the early game rebalance, which is now live in the game. So let's go and jump into it and let's have an analyze on what has happened for this update for this week. Now this is going to be a really big update, which is going to go under the radar for a bit, but I think the effects from it is going to ripple for quite a little while. What I'm interested in is your opinions in the comments. Drop what you think of this update, how it's going to affect you going forward, because there's some pretty big things which are going to happen as a result of it as well. Now, one of the first things I want to say is the early game absolutely needs this kind of attention and this kind of level of detail. We all know that the early game has a lot of problems and can be quite discouraging for players starting a brand new game because it's not very user-friendly in the early levels anyway, and trying to get people to understand the basics of certain skills and train things in how the game was sort of designed to do can be a little bit tricky in the day and age of RuneScape 3 today. Now what I would say is that even though Jagex have been absolutely smashing it out of the park for the past couple of months, this is going to be the first time they've kind of got it wrong, in my opinion. Now again, like I mentioned before, all your opinions in the comment section below. We can have a little bit of discussion between all of us as well. But I think while this is focused on the early game, the ramifications it's had on the late game and some really good late game AFK methods and training methods as well is quite major and something really I think they need to look at and kind of go backwards on. So let's get started through this post anyway. So this is going to be the patch notes for the early game rebalance. It's kind of a main bulk of the update today. This is what it really is. So it's got its own like sort of private post as opposed to the actual update one. But I'll put the link in the description if you guys want to have a read. I think it's definitely worthwhile doing. Now, there's been a numerous amount of skills which have been focused on and amended to be better and less grindy in those early sections to help players understand and build up their levels to get further and deeper into the quest storylines and also into sort of the skilling section of the game. Now, the first one is agility, and we all know that especially like early level, entry level agility is pretty bad. Like, whereas before, Silverhawks, even at like such rubbish XP, people would still use them because again, it's not trained agility. Now, the way I've done it on the Grab the Hog account is that for agility, we've literally just quested. I've had to use like troll invasion books. I've basically done everything but train it. So what Jagex have done is focus on actually increasing the XP rates, which has made this a bit more bearable going forward as well. And as you can see by some of the XP changes, they've gone up anywhere between plus 33% for the werewolf methods all the way up to 101% for the barbarian outpost. So like at level 35, barbarian outpost being 40,000 XP per hour is a lot more palatable than actually what it was before, which was just 20k. And relatively as well, the level 1 methods in Birthorpe and the Gnome Stronghold being 13,000 XP per hour is actually quite good for the level anyway. And this is mainly because the agility is linked to so many quests. I think we put a number in the post somewhere that like 50 quests require agility as a requirement for before level 30, which is crazy to think like that many quests are tied into 30 agility. And if a new player doesn't really sort of get along with low level agility, and when you think about it, who really does? This is a good way to go. And this is something in terms of early game improvement, which I'm 100% behind. I really am a big fan of this. Knocking the XP rates up there is definitely a big plus from me. And there's some things they've done which are pluses and some pieces of content which aren't and kind of go against what they've been doing, which again, we'll pick out a little bit later on. So Hunter is one of those first pieces of content where I don't think they've got something right. And it's only one part of it. So obviously with Hunter, it's historic that the early levels in trying to trap birds is rough. Like really, really bad. Not as bad as like when Hunter was originally released. That was horrific. But it's still quite a bit of a problem to go and hunt and catch things as well. So the way they've kind of worked this, let's say we're going to start with Crimson Swiss, which is level 1. So to start with, you're going to get 75% success rate on catching that bird. And then once you're 25 levels later on, so 26 for this example, you will then be 100% success rate. So every level you get, past the level you unlock, gets added to that 75% chance rate until you get 100%, which... And they've also done something where they increase the XP per catch rate of birds as well, which again, you know, is not too bad as well. They've done something with Kebit tracking. Again, that is increasing the XP per catch, which, you know, very nice. In Chinchompers, they've come up with a pretty nice idea of multi-catch, which is nice to tie in with agility. Again, it encourages people to train the agility skill. The agility requirement isn't massively high either, so 70 for grey chins, 78 for red chins. Again, pretty decent. Now this is going to be the one which hurts a little bit is whirligigs. They have destroyed whirligigs quite brutally, to be fair. I would now say that while whirligigs were probably one of the best ways to go and train Hunter, even in higher levels, it is just not worth it. Now, they have hurt whirligigs hard. Now, as you can see here, the one I want to point out to is the XP per hour change. Now, you've got whirligigs between -40 and -64% down on their XP per hour. And this is what I don't get, is that Jagex have picked out the AFK methods. It's something they want to change, want people to engage with content. Whirligigs are probably one of the most engaging content you could do in terms of Hunter, and like -60% for a level 90 whirligig is just crazy. Like, I can only really imagine now people are going to go and do whirligigs for powders because they're just not worth doing for XP. It's just so backwards to what it was or what they're trying to aim for. So this is one where I think they've really hit an own goal. They've really gone against what they should have done as well. Now, another one for this is going to be Thieving. Like, Thieving, after 120, everyone absolutely loved the update. It was one of the most AFK ways to train. People would do it as just simply a way to chill out and just play the game and just enjoy it. But I'll show you guys on the main account a little bit later on. The high level Thieving has now just been absolutely destroyed. Whereas before, the Men of Fight guide, so you could quite comfortably do a full 15-minute AFK. You're lucky to get 2 minutes. Admittedly, that's just with my standard setup of the aura and the camouflage and the cape. I did not use anything like Crystal Mask, but for what setup I used to use to quite comfortably do a full 15-minute AFK, I can no longer get 2 minutes. But I'll show you guys a little bit later on when we go into the game. So the point of this and why they've done this was to make lower level thieving better. So you didn't get such a high rate of getting caught at lower levels, which I fully understand. Like, low level thieving is awful because you've got such a small chance to have a successful pickpocket. You get caught all the time. It's really annoying and discouraging as well. So what they've done is very similar to Hunter, is where at the unlock level, you can have a 75% chance at success rate. And then every level for the next 25 levels is a 1% increase on that. That is great, that's fine. But something which they've now done which goes against that is you also start to get a decrease for successful pickpocketing. So you start off with your rate and then every pickpocket afterwards is going to be a -1 onto your success rate, which then means you're going to get caught. Not only that as well, some of the really big boosts have been harmed quite aggressively, like the Crystal Mask Invisible boost is now gone down from 25 levels to 15. They've reduced the stun time from 7 ticks to 5, and they've also gone through a lot of the perks and lots of the other stuff as well to make it the kind of stuff and buffs you use for thieving really not worthwhile. So when pickpocketing, you get the first 10 pickpockets almost as a free sort of boost, and then after that you lose 1% per pickpocket, which is just so bad. Like, thieving was such a great skill to do, and I'm so happy I've got it to 200 mil on the main account, but it really was one of those skills which you saw people enjoy. They use it as an AFK, and again, like, not everyone AFKs just to AFK. Like, a lot of people tie it in when they're doing work, studying, chores, all their other stuff. That's when they can do their AFK time, and then when they've got their free time, they can go and focus on gameplay. Like, not all AFKing is bad, and it just seems that this has been something which has really harmed the game. Like, there was a mention on one of the Reddit posts that Crystal Mask was only going to be to a point where you could still AFK for 5 minutes, and at the minute, it still can't put a 2%. So it's quite brutal, really. Plunder has had quite a few increases again. They wanted to push for the fact that people are going to be actively thieving. Yeah, fine. Plunder is going to be better XP than like AFK thieving. That's not an issue. But don't go after the AFK side as well. Like, you need both elements to keep people entwined. Prayer, they've removed the Chaos Altar ability unless you've done the Elite Diary. Every tier of Diary gives you a bonus on the altar. So if you're a brand new account, you're only going to get a 50% boost on using your bones on the altar. The same as you would throughout the whole game. Like, the whole game, you're going to get a 50% prayer XP buff by using bones on an altar. But for the Wilderness Altar especially, easy is going to give you 100%, medium 150, hard's 200, at least 250. That's fine. I kind of agree where they were going to say that the Chaos Altar was a little bit broken. It was. I mean, you have the ability to have like a Gilded Altar with absolutely no requirements. All you needed to do was go and walk into the Wilderness, which doesn't have any interaction, doesn't have anyone to kill you, which is fine. Fort for Infray Altar, the fact it saves you bones, but you're going to get less XP than a Gilded Altar in your house. Again, that's fine. That kind of makes sense. Fishing, very minimal, nothing too much there. Farming and Herblore, again, very minimal. They have nerfed beehives, which I kind of get because beehives were a little bit broken. They're trying to bring more herb seasons to the game at lower level. Yep, that's fine. Divination, they've put an additional on the success rates for a lot of their wisps. Again, that's really good because, again, like, the lower level divination wisps are a little bit rough, especially to get through that sort of content as well. So to have a plus 5% and the fact you're going to get more gather XP and more convert XP, you know, it's nice. It's not massive in terms of a change, but it's still something to give people a little bit more encouragement, because low level divination is quite rough, to be fair. More salvage and stone spirits come into low level monsters, which again should be very beneficial, because again, I've mentioned it numerous times on Grab the Hog. Low level in terms of like resources and drops and stuff like that can be exceptionally rough, and it just gives a little bit more into that low level combat bracket. And they've made some changes to combat in Lumbridge and the quest as well. Now, what I would say is all of this stuff I'm going to discover on Grab the Hog through its series. We are pretty much caught up to date. I've probably got 2 episodes ahead of myself because I've been away for the weekend. So we'll get those out in the next 2 days, and then we're pretty much caught up to where I am anyway. And we're going to delve into this stuff and see if it's really going to affect a low level account when training, and if it's noticeable when training as well. I've not done any of the thieving. I've not done any other real stuff related here. There are some stuff in thieving which is quite nice. Like the doors in the Thieving Guild respawn automatically. We'll go and check stuff like that out. But it's just that the higher level methods in the high game seem to have been hurt more for this. So to wrap this video up, I'm just going to go and sit at Menophyte Guards. Again, this is the info and setup I've had for these kind of monsters for all of my thieving. It's the same thing I've done all the thieving loot videos on. I've got the Master Aura going now. It's just to show you guys that really 2 minutes max is what you can go and do this for. Don't get me wrong, I'll be trying the Crystal Mask and also the Light Form as well, just to see how good it is with that method. But this is absolutely brutally harmed high level skilling. Now, whether they're going to change this when we look at the high level stuff later on, I don't know. But I just think for 1 step forward, we've taken 2 steps backwards. I think the stuff they've released for the low level game is beneficial and will help a lot of players. I don't think it's big enough to warrant the sort of damage they've done with Whirligigs and then also with the Thieving update as well. However, as always, what I'm here for is for what you guys think as well. Let me know what you think. Am I being a bit dramatic about it? Am I sort of saying that this is way worse than what it actually is? Or do you guys sort of agree that Thieving has really taken a big hit here? I know a lot of people have used the Menophyte Guards as a great way to stack up on clue scrolls and also for training their Thieving, but now this is not a valid 15-minute AFK. Who knows what it is? And I have seen like a lot of the memes and stuff as well about RS3 players wanting a 15-minute AFK and not playing the game. But a lot of people do these kind of methods for when they don't really have the time to play the game. So rather than actually like playing the game, they'll just not log in at all, which is not the effect we really want. And as you can see, we've not even talked for 2 minutes and I've already been caught. And yeah, this is a painful one. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Obviously, we're going to catch up with the rest of the videos. I am very much going to be in recording season this week. So let me know what kind of videos you guys want me to do, and I'll make sure to catch up on it as well. I can do a video on this, delving a little bit deeper in the high level changes as well, to see just how bad it really is. But the low level stuff we will cover and Grab the Hog over the next couple of days as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys very soon in the next video.